Hi everyone, welcome. It's been a minute since I've been live or even on YouTube at all. Um, I have been busy, on top of all the normal things in life, the kids, the things that we have after school programs and everything. I've also been training for a marathon, and I also have been trying to work on some self care because mentally I've been really struggling. So, putting my family first, putting my mental health first, putting my physical health first is number one priority. So, if I can circle back around to doing some of this YouTube stuff, then I definitely will. As for now, I just thought I'd kind of do a live stream to touch base and kind of give you some of updates and some of my experiences that I've been going through so far. Um, and I also want to maybe if you've been waiting for some inspiration, um, you can definitely do this. A lot of the people that I've been talking to lately say, "Oh my gosh, I couldn't do it." And you can absolutely do it within reason. I mean, obviously, there are some physical limitations that would prevent you from achieving every single thing that you would like to achieve. Um, but my kind of race experience has definitely opened up my mind as far as what my body is telling my mind that it can't do and what my mind is telling my body that it can't do. So I hope that some people will jump in and join us. I just shared this on Facebook and I did not share it on Instagram, but if you want to share this, then I would appreciate that too. If you're watching the replay, I definitely appreciate it. If you want to give me a thumbs up if you like it, I'm here for that too. So basically, I've been on diet wise, I've been on an up and down battling between you know, I think if we back up actually previously to the holiday season, doing um a lot. It's been a lot of emotional eating. And when I'm in that headspace, a lot of the decisions that I make are not that great. So we I guess I've been relying more on my husband to help me out with that a little bit as well because now he kind of can see. It was kind of funny actually. Last night I was in my headspace of not eating healthy, and my husband was like, "You are going to go home and binge eat, aren't you?" And for sure I did. That's for sure was me. He knew it before I even said anything, made any motions, or even before we got home because he just knew that I was in that headspace. So I think that that's really important, like having a support group around you, and it's taken so long to get here. However, we are all learning how we can help each other and how we can do our best. And I have to say, I'm really proud of my husband because he's been trying to keep me in check. And we've been achieving our fitness goals together and, setting that priority that going and working out is a priority for both of us. And eating healthy is a priority for both of us. And living longer for our family is a priority for both of us. So on that note, um, that's a really great thing because you want to have people around you that have similar interests and It's a lot easier, like when people see you trying to eat healthy, trying to do the right thing, work out, it's easier for them to see themselves doing that too. So sometimes you might have to take the leap of faith and know that what you're doing is a good thing, and just let everybody around you kind of catch up and warm up to that fact, because um not only with my husband, but like friends and coworkers and stuff, I've even seen a lot of people trying to step it up and trying to do more healthy eating and more physical. And if I can inspire anyone, that's the whole point in having the YouTube platform. When I first set out, was to inspire people to know that they can live a busy life and eat healthy, that they can live a busy life and prioritize their mental health, live a busy life and incorporate that healthy diet, that it's not going to be boring, that it's not going to be bland, that low carb isn't just whatever all the cliche things, keto crazy or whatever all the other people kind of like pigeonhole that regimen of eating as. It's low carb, but there's so many different ways to do it. So you have to do what works for you. And if that's not keto, then just do what works for you. I just want generally people to live happier and healthier lives. I do want general good for the world. So, yeah, so that's kind of here. And I kind of spiraled off the topic of binge eating, but my mental health hasn't been great and my binge eating hasn't been great. So now, today, is day number one. You don't have to start at the beginning of a week. You don't have to start at the first of the month. You don't have to start at the first of the year. If you are listening to this right now and you need to hear it, you can start right now. You don't have to wait till tomorrow. You don't have to wait at all. Just start now. So, today is day number one. I am going to try over the next couple months not to binge eat. Now, I know that's not going to be perfect. Um, and I think I need to kind of like go back to basics and recalculate and retabulate, because over the last couple months I have gained weight. I'm sure some of it is muscle, but I really want to get back down to at least the 10 more pounds that I've gained since the holidays. So we're gonna get on track today, day number one. Let's go. And as for the marathon, um, I guess what inspired me to kind of train for the marathon was one of my coworkers had said, "Oh, there's this 5K. It's great. They've got food and drinks after, and it's a really fun time. And let's get into it. Let's do it together." And that was kind of the catalyst for the whole thing. I have been a runner previously in my past. I ran middle school. I was thinking about it the other day. Middle school, I kind of got into running because I tried out for a bunch of sports and I didn't make the cut on any of those. So running was like a good place to start, something where I didn't need to have a benchmark. I didn't need to have a tryout. I could just go and run. I knew that I probably wasn't going to be the slowest one, so that made me feel okay about it. And so I just started running in middle school with a couple of my friends. High school, we had a really great coach for cross country and track, and he really held us to it. And, one of his sayings would be like, "You have enough endurance to run you to the moon. You just need to like focus on that and train on that, and you'll get to where you need to be." So he was very strict. He taught us a lot of discipline, which I think is where a lot of my discipline with like workout comes from, because it was definitely like we had some really talented runners and it was a very disciplined training route. So fast forward to college, I was like, nope, I don't want to run. I want to, do other things, make other friends. I've done that for 4 years. I kind of want to break the monotony. Well, I wish I had just kept running because, maybe I would have been in a lot better shape. Um, I had lost about 60 pounds at that point doing Weight Watchers. And then, after when I went to college and my parents ended up getting divorced and I wasn't feeling like I was fitting in anywhere. I went through a very deep depression and I gained all that weight back plus more. So running kind of got away from me after my postpartum depression with my first daughter. Running kind of helped me get out of the house and break that postpartum after a long time of probably needing a lot more help. And that's one of the darkest parts of my time. But I did get back into running slightly. Then I had Mackenzie, and then COVID happened. And then that brought me to my wellness journey that I'm on now because I could barely walk up a flight of stairs, never mind run a mile. So over the past 2.5 years, I have been doing strength training. I've been doing a little bit more cardio. So slowly just building the building blocks to that 5K. So I said, you know what? I said, I think I could run a 5K. Ran the 5K, finished, didn't set any records or anything doing it, just doing it for fun. And then a couple months went by and I was really thinking about doing a marathon. The thought went in my head. The thought was, out of my head. And I kept talking myself in and talking myself out. Eventually, I decided that I was just going to do it. So I kind of talked it over with my husband in end of December, beginning of January. And I said, one of my goals for the new year is to qualify for Boston Marathon. I kind of looked into it a little bit more and I said, "Oh shoot." I said the opportunity for me to do it this year is gone. So I said, "Well, I'm going to try to do another marathon and see how I do and then maybe potentially in 2025 do Boston." So I'm still hopeful for that might happen. I am gonna have to probably do some fundraising to get in just because of the marathon didn't turn out exactly as I had hoped. I did a bunch of training and I just missed the mark. So, um, my goal was to run the marathon in 3.5 hours, like an 8.5 minute pace, which doesn't sound too bad, but when you're running 26.2 miles, that is a good speed to maintain that whole time. And I thought, you know, after I did all my training, that I was going to have it in the bag, but I really didn't. So, if you are thinking about doing a marathon, my best advice, the app that I used was the Nike Running Club app. They have training for a 5K, a marathon, a half marathon. So, whatever race you're training for, or if you're just doing individual runs, it's a really good place to start because they have a huge variety of coached runs. So, everything from running in the cold to running in the rain to running in the daylight, lacking motivation, and some of the advice that they will actually give you in the running app is actually something that you can implement in other parts of your life. And I am feel like so blessed that I got to experience all those things in the Nike running app because they've helped me through some tough times in the training and they've helped me through some tough times in the marathons. So, if you are trying to train for something, I really recommend that Nike running app. It was huge in my success. So, where are we now? So I only had 3 months to train, which I know people train for a lot longer than that, but I am proud of the performance that I did with the 3 months to train. That was my first time ever running that 26.2 miles was in the actual physical race, because each week was like building up to that. So, um, I did it. I made it. I am so proud of myself for making it to the end. We got decent weather because it had been like raining the whole week before. So I was like, oh no, if I have to run this in the rain, I don't know if I can make it. And I didn't. I ended up making it. Woo! So thank you to everyone that came out to support me in my marathon and in my journey for my marathon. um the countless times that I was running for a long run, and someone had to care for the kids. Thank you for being there to my mother-in-law. And all the times of the frustration and the time commitment and everything, just like everyone being so supportive around me. Even the days leading up to the race. I will say it is a little bit harder preps for anyone that's doing a low carb diet. One of the questions that I kept getting asked the day or two before the race was, are you going to go carbo load? And I had known from some of the longer runs that I had done during the training period that that was not a good idea for me, because um, when I had taken in a lot of carbs that I wasn't used to, then I would end up feeling like so sick during the run, and my sugar would be up, and I was just like, bleh. So, one of my recommendations if you are going to run a marathon and do the low carb is that the day or two before the marathon, to really focus on getting like your electrolytes really up there, really working on hydration. I know that with a lot of low carb diets, carbs are a lot of times the vessel that brings a lot of like fiber and salts into your muscle tissue and your digestive tract. So, a lot of the times, and maybe this is TMI for you, but a lot of the times when you are constipated, it's because there's not enough like electrolytes and natural salts that are drawing the water into the intestines. So you're just like anything, ooh, sorry about that. Your muscles are you know the salt is drawing the water into your muscles. So if you do have problems with constipation, definitely focus on like an electrolyte count. Electrolyte, they have like liquids that you can add to your water. They have like little like electrolyte pills that you can add to like bone broth. So next time, which there will be a next time that I do a marathon, I will be focusing on basically probably the whole week before, getting those electrolytes in and making sure that I have enough water and hydration, because around mile 20, I ended up cramping up really bad. And some people were like, oh, there's no shame in walking. Well, right around mile 19, there was a hill that I walked up, and I wish I had never done that. So that's another learning lesson that I learned, is like, no matter what, just try to keep pushing through, because once you stop and walk, you will feel like all the muscles in your legs. So I stopped and walked up the hill, and then I decided I would pull off to the side for a minute and stretch like I had done in training. And when I pulled off to the side to stretch for a minute, I started cramping. I ended up on the ground. A lady helped me stretch out a little bit. I said, "Okay, I got this." I got right back up. I was around the 3:30 mile pacer, so I didn't see the 3:45 pass me yet. So I said, "Okay, I'm still in good shape." I get up, I run about a half a mile or so, and then my muscle just starts cramping like crazy. I like fall off to the side of the road. And luckily, there were other running coaches there on bikes with backpacks. So I ended up actually eating a banana and drinking. They have these things called goo, which is like amino acids, electrolytes, and caffeine, and they're supposed to help push you through the race. Beforehand, I had never even heard of goo. Until the day before the race, I had never even heard of goo. So if you're thinking about doing a marathon, look up goo, look up like I think goo makes like a gummy that has like caffeine and sodium and amino acids. And I think I might actually even start drinking those a couple days before the race, or taking the gummies a couple days before the race, just to make sure that I have enough electrolytes so I don't start cramping as bad. Um, but what was I saying? Okay. So then, I fell off to the coach helped me, and then the paramedics came by and they were like, "Oh, do you want to ride?" And I was like, "No, I made it to mile number 20. I'm not gonna stop now. I don't want to go." So I didn't give up. I stretched out a little bit more, and then by this point, I had seen the guy with the 3:45 pacer come and go, and I was like, had been on the ground for about 20 plus minutes, and I decided even if I'm gonna have to walk the next 6 miles, I'm gonna do it. So I walk a half a mile, and I was almost at another rest area, and I was talking to myself, saying, "Michelle, this is crazy." I said, "You've trained for this for 3 months. You are stronger than your body, and you need to just mind over matter it right now. And I know you're cramping. You can do whatever you need to do to fix it after the race. Just keep pushing through." So then, about mile number 21, there was a really good rest area. They had the Noon Energy, and that has a lot of electrolytes in it. So I had a fanny pack with some water bottles that are attached to it. And also, if you are planning on running a long run, or even if you're planning on running a short run and you're not typically a runner, I really do recommend this. It was bought on Amazon, which I think. So my husband got me this guy, and it's got 2 pouches in the side for water. It's got a little zip, so you can put car keys or money or anything, which is good in training. If you need a refill for your water, you can just put a little bit of money in there, house keys. And then there's this cool piece where you put your phone, and if you have a phone where you're doing your splits or music or anything on, it actually has a Velcro, so you can flip the phone up so you can see it when you're running. So that was like huge. I filled up my bottles with electrolyte water, and the people there actually had cramp cream, which I think I might invest in for my next race too, and maybe use it before the race and after the race, and maybe bring a small little bit to bring with me in the race. But I put the cramp cream on, I got the electrolytes, another banana, and I was telling myself I was good to go. So from that point, I had 5 miles left. So I said to myself, I said, "You only have 5 miles left, 2 more miles of jogging, and then you have a 5K left." I've always run 5Ks in cross country, so I said 5K is nothing. You will have run basically 23 miles at that point, you can do it. So being your own positive coach and positive teammate and in a race this long is like essential. So I was able to jog the next 2 miles, and I started feeling pretty good about myself and how much I had left to run. So I was able to like really give the last 3 miles a really good push. And then when I came around the end and there was like a half a mile of people cheering and everything, I was actually able to push through and sprint the last half a mile, and it felt so good, everybody cheering me on and seeing my loved ones at the end, giving my kids a high five. And, my kids were worried after not seeing me for so long that something had happened to me. So just like giving them that hug and accomplishing something and seeing my kids see that I put my mind to something and that I did it was so huge. And then telling them, I could have quit in the middle, but I kept going. And my daughter now, she's like, "Oh, mom, I would do a race. I would do a run." So we'll see. Maybe there's potential for us to run together in the future. And, back to the beginning when I first said, the whole goal of this is to kind of help other people be healthier and live a healthier lifestyle as well as myself, to see the impacts that these changes in food have had on my kids and see the impact that these changes in exercise have had on my whole entire family is just like insurmountable. So, I hope that if you're hearing this and you're thinking about going on a wellness journey, that you really do it, because it'll help not just you, but you'll never know the amount of lives it can impact. Um, we are getting close to the 30-minute mark, so I appreciate every second that you guys can spend here with me. Um, Everyone's always been a great supporter, and I just can't thank you guys enough for always being there to listen and cheer and everything that you do. I will be wrapping this up in a few minutes because, speaking of which, me and my husband are supposed to have a date at the gym, so we will be going to go do that. Um, but I made it. I'm looking forward to my next couple of races, and I'm fortunate for everything that I learned in my first marathon, and that it will help me to reach my goal for the second marathon. Um, I'm thinking about 2 more races this year, and then maybe next year if I can get into Boston, doing Boston, and if not, then I will probably try to do a different marathon next year. But we'll just have to see how it goes. Like I said, I didn't make the qualifying time for Boston, but I am looking forward to doing some fundraising, helping out a charity, and that kind of thing. So if you're interested, I will be posting my fundraiser at some point as well. Help me with my road to my second marathon. Whoop, whoop. Um, As far as post race, so we've kind of talked about pre race, like making sure that if you aren't eating carbs, that you're getting those electrolytes in and hydrating before and prepping before and doing the runs and putting in the time and making sure that you're really stretched out really great and mentally in a good spot. So those are all like my key things for before, during. So now I kind of wanted to transition for a couple minutes into the after the marathon. So after the marathon, I was lucky that I made it to the end. But after the marathon, my legs felt like jello, so I relied on the people around me. So, um, basically kind of know yourself and know that after the marathon that you are not going to have much strength to be like walking around everywhere, and you probably will be um peeing a lot because you've been drinking so much during that 4-hour period. So keep that in mind too. Don't go anywhere with a lot of stairs. Um, and then kind of like the day after the marathon, you'll be like way, or I was way more sore than the day of the marathon. So keep that in mind. Kind of didn't do a workout, just went to the sauna, did some stretching, some massaging, and that was kind of the most that I could do for the day. Not a whole lot of walking around because my knee was sore and my hip was sore and just everything hurts at that point. The Monday, I would say that was pretty bad too because like the next 2 days you'll have late onset muscle soreness. There's like an acronym for it, but um that's definitely a thing if you've done like a weightlifting workout or any kind of workout where you haven't been working a muscle in a while, you'll feel that like not the day of, but the day after, or potentially even the 2 days after, you might feel that extreme soreness of the muscle just because the muscle is actually tearing and then trying to heal back together, which is why they say some muscle groups you should leave periods of time, like a day or so in between when you work it, so that way the muscle tears and then it heals back stronger. So the next 2 days after the marathon was pretty gnarly. Um, and then yesterday we had like a whole date day where we went out to dinner, we stayed in a hotel, we went to the spa, and I will say that spa with the water journey, I cannot say enough good things about it. This is the second one that we went to, and that rotation between going into the hot tub and the ice bath and the sauna and they had a dry sauna and medium sauna and a kind of like an essential oil infused sauna, and doing the rotation between the different elements of how water can be, and having that cold and that ice and that hot, that was huge also. And I know this might be a little weird, but um, it's, I think, becoming a more mainstream thing now. But if you can get some like CBD cream or THC cream or CBD oil and rub that on like your leg muscles or wherever you are having the joint pain, I will say that that is like huge, and it does have definitely an impact. I used to not really know if it did before, but massaging it on my legs that day, I think really made an impact on that next day, me being able to, not only was I able to go out and walk, but I was also at that point then able to go out and, do like a brief exercise. So tonight will really be like my first time trying to do a workout, which I don't know how it's going to go, but we're on like day 5 out here. So I'm going to at least try. My legs are feeling pretty good between the spa and the CBD THC oil. I think the THC oil actually works better than the CBD oil. But it's all about, like your comfort zone, and rubbing it on your body is not gonna make you like high or anything. It's really actually really good for your muscles. So, um yeah, so here we are, day 5, getting better day by day. And I think I'm just gonna go take it easy. Maybe do a light workout, do some walking, and then maybe hit the sauna and do like a really good stretch after. Um, I've said before, if you are at a gym and you get gyms that have things like sauna or steam room or hot room or hot tub or pool, that's like a really good thing, and you can kind of sometimes use that as motivation to get the physical activity in if you use like the sauna or something as a reward. So I feel so happy that my gym does have a sauna because a lot of times I'll do my workout there and then I'll go out and stretch, and I feel like it really gives my muscles a good stretch because the heat kind of relaxes the muscles and gives you that opportunity to like stretch them out really well. I'm gonna be hopping off here in a second, but if anybody, has a question about marathon training, reach out to me. I'm extremely available via Messenger, and if you have any tips or tricks for me to prepare me for my next big adventure. I already have a couple of marathons or half marathons picked out that I'd like to partake in now. And I have to say that there is definitely something about a marathon and pushing your body to the ultimate limit as far as it can go, and just like feeling like that feeling of like I have literally pushed my body as hard as I can today, is like a life changing realization. I push my body pretty hard, but getting to that point of like complete exhaustion where my muscles are like, nope, not having it, and then my mind had to push through. That is definitely like some like emotions and feelings, and I don't know, whatever else you want to call it, that you cannot replace, because when you get to that point and you overcome that certain amount of like what you can do with your mind, that is like a life changing moment. So, a lot of people have been saying to me, like, oh, I could never do that. The one thing that I would say I have to love about running that's really made me love and appreciate the sport, and yes, it is a sport, is the fact that there's so many things to celebrate with running. And I liked in the Nike running app that they framed it as a celebration, because I think that's an accurate word for it. When you achieve something new in running, then you should be extremely proud of yourself. Don't worry about what other people are doing. When you achieve something, you should celebrate, not with food, but like just celebrate with excitement, and just use that as like, in the marathon training, they said something that was like, your training is the work, but your race day is your celebration of everything that you have worked for. Don't be stressed, don't be mad, just enjoy it and know that the training effort that you're putting in is making a difference, and know that on that day that you should be really proud of yourself and celebrate every win, every time you didn't want to get out there and do it, every time you were thinking about quitting and you didn't. So like that is huge. And also with running, like there's no set amount of time or length or anything that you have to achieve to be proud of yourself. If you're not a runner and you have never run a race before and you're proud of yourself for running half a mile, celebrate that. Not with food, not with anything, maybe you buy yourself a fanny pack. I don't know. Um or maybe you just celebrate by being proud of yourself and having that strength to go on and achieve something else. Maybe your reward is doing it a little bit longer the next time, and it's all about frame of mind at that point. So, if you are running your first 5K, like that should be a huge celebration. 10K, half a mile. There's so many different miles and lengths and times, and you can literally find anything to celebrate in running, which is one of the reasons why I love it so much. And it's one of those things that if you do put in the time, you do put in the effort, you will see results. So my biggest piece of advice, I guess, would just be to like, have confidence in yourself and have that mindset that it should be a celebration, that you should be happy, that you should be proud. If you can only run 100 meters, okay, celebrate 100 meters, celebrate 200 meters. However, you have to do to get the building blocks of that. If you can run a mile and then you run a faster mile the next time, be proud of yourself for that. Celebrate yourself for that in a healthy way. You know, tell everyone. Everyone else should be as proud of your physical activity as you are. And if you ever need someone to be proud of you for doing the physical activity, come see me. I'll be your cheerleader. If you ever need some guidance, some advice, you're having a rough time, you know, I'm more than happy to help with anything because, you know, 3 years is coming up on the keto diet and the weight loss, and that's been a lot of times. There have been a lot of ups and downs and all over moments and different emotional things. Even just in the course of the 4 hours of the marathon, there were so many emotional loops and feelings, and it's a lot to take in, it's a lot to digest. um but I guess my biggest thing is, if you're thinking about doing a wellness journey, just do it. Start right now. Don't wait till the first of the month, the first of the week, the Monday. Just do it. If you are thinking about doing some kind of running, just go out and do it. Try to set a goal and achieve it, even no matter what the goal is. And then after you've achieved that goal, give yourself a big pat on the back, because you deserve that celebration and you deserve that pride and you deserve every single second of that good feeling. Um, Over the course of this, I might add too that my doctor was concerned about heart issues with me. So I would say, like, if you are gonna run a marathon, maybe get your heart checked out first, because that was one of the things that the paramedics said. They said sometimes people don't know they have a heart condition until they go do something like this, and then they end up leaving in an ambulance. So that's not what I want for anybody either. However, just going for your regular checkups and getting anything checked out if you have an issue is another one of my big tips along the way from my wellness journey. All right, so it is getting to be like about the 45-minute mark. Thank you again so much for watching this. I just kind of wanted to share my road to the marathon, during the marathon, prep work, after the marathon. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to stick around and answer those. Um, And I'm proud of everyone out there that is setting some goals, achieving them, setting them, not achieving them, but at least trying their best. Um, it is hard sometimes. Sometimes you don't achieve the goal. One of the runs that I was doing in the Nike Running Club app was talking about what happens when your goal is not exactly what you thought it was going to be, which helped me in this race, because my goal, I was thinking, was going to be a certain pace, that I was going to be training for a while and that it was going to just be easy, and that I was going to, as long as I stayed on my training and my pace, that I was going to be good. I didn't plan for my muscles spasming and being out for the count for a half an hour. Um, I didn't plan on having to walk a mile. So, planning for, you know, being proud of yourself even when you don't hit that exact goal is an important thing as well. But regardless, you should celebrate it. Because I tell my kids this, if you've given your 100% effort, then you should be proud of yourself. So, on that note, I am going to go try to do my first workout back. Feeling pretty good. Legs felt great today. I don't know if it was the spa or the oils or the massages or the fact that I've been laying low for a couple of days, or, if 5 days is a realistic recovery for a marathon, but I have taken it light the last couple of days, so I'm really looking forward to get back into doing some weight training because that weight training has kind of taken a back seat to the marathon training. So I'm looking forward to getting into doing some more of that. And I don't know. I'll let you guys, know as I progress through this journey. And I'll try to stay relevant on my channel. Although, as I said before, my family and my health is the number one priority. So I'm happy to be out there and support anybody. But as for now, that's a wrap for me. I hope that you guys will go out there and think about some goals and set some goals for yourself. And don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to go for, put your mind to something and stick to a goal that might be very challenging for you. So I love you guys. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to see more, and definitely hit that bell icon because I can't guarantee when my videos will be coming out. So at least you'll get a notification on that. But I love you guys. I hope everyone's doing well and have a great weekend.